Versatile Mage. Chapter 232 The Nyx Regime. Mo Fan had already retreated after he handed the Shadow Beast over. He wasn't stupid enough to contend against that many intermediate magicians. If he hadn't already moved away from it, then the violent wave from before would most likely have turned him into a handicap as well. You crazy water magicians. Since you don't want the rest of us to obtain it, then you can forget about getting the Shadow Beast as well. Brothers, stop hiding. Let's get rid of these water magicians. They're only sitting there stirring up shit. Leaving them here benefits no one, a vigorous voice spoke up from the crowd. That person's name was Zhang Xiangming. He was rather famous among the senior students. At his shout, the other magicians who had suffered under the hands of the water magicians were no longer able to endure it. Each one of them began to control their star atlas as they targeted the water magicians. It was true that the Shadow Beast was the true objective of everyone. However, in this kind of chaotic situation, the majority of the people would get angry and chant their magic. A clean battle could easily develop into one of hatred. The elemental schools were already in conflict with one another from the very start. In a situation where there was no one to control them, all kinds of new or old resentments would be used as an excuse to start a fight. Who cared about the Shadow Beast right now? When there were still so many people around, not a single person would be allowed to touch the Shadow Beast, thus, they would settle their other matters. The water magicians had indeed enraged everyone. Each one of them was trampled down in succession. Fortunately, the battle had alerted the teachers. There were many teachers standing nearby, guarding the students. Even Dean Xiao did not anticipate that Mo Fan would gather all of the examinees in this place to fight. He hurriedly used an advanced level magic of the light element to create a gigantic barrier. He used the barrier to confine those fighting in order to prevent their battle from leaking out and hitting the buildings of the school, or hurting innocent people. In addition to Dean Xiao, the other light teachers also took action when they arrived a bit later. This part of Azure campus was nearly turned into ruins. The other element's destructive power was not easy to deal with. The fire element gave others headaches. If a fiery fist were to fly toward one of the school buildings, that would be a big problem. Fortunately, this was the most desolate area of the school. The school had expected that the students would start a fight in the area of the iron cage, so they had selected this place to be the ground for their battles. However, they did not predict that all of the students would be fighting here. Dean, at this rate, there'll definitely be someone dying. Zhou Zhenghua could no longer watch this. Open the Great Nyx Regime formation. Have all of their powers suppressed. Dean Xiao said solemnly. Fortunately, the battle royale had only been going on for a little while, and not everyone had started to go crazy. However, when it came to fighting, it was very easy for people to go out of control. The casualties would only increase. There was no way the school had not prepared for this. The reason why they chose this place was precisely because there was a Great Nyx Regime formation in this place. Nyx Regime was an advanced shadow magic. It used shadow magic stones to conduct a star path with the layout of a star atlas. It then transferred the colossal energy to the formation in order to increase the advanced magic's might several times over, even tenfold or more. The Great Nyx Regime formation was placed right around the area where the students were fighting. After Dean Xiao gave the order, the bright night sky was suddenly engulfed by something. It was just like a colossal shadow hand, its palm covering the entire sky. When the hand of Regime slowly fell from the sky, a shadow stone array buried beneath the ground in the middle of the taming beast iron cage emerged. If you were to look at it from a high location, you would definitely realize that the shadow stones appeared to be set up like a star atlas. The shadow star atlas emerged first, but when the shadow stones serving as stars shot their radiance into the sky, yet another star atlas appeared there. Each of the stars was linked to a star path. Each of the star paths turned into a star atlas. There wasn't just one star atlas. There were several of them on the ground, and in the sky, the intertwining dots of flowering shadow orns were also star atlases. Tutu and Mu Nujiao were still on the top of the roof. The two of them just happened to be looking down from higher ground. The sight of those colossal shadow star atlases shocked them. Even Mu Nujiao, who was so knowledgeable, had not imagined that the school actually had such a gigantic shadow formation. A constellation. It's an advanced tier great magic formation. Mu Nujiao was shocked when she saw everything happening below her. The divine and stately star atlas filled her eyes. Constellation. A shadow elemental constellation. As she raised her head, the curtain of the night turned into a gigantic palm, cloaking the sky as it slowly enveloped everything. The starlight was no longer there. The lights from the city in the distance were no longer there either. Even if they were extremely close, it was all completely pitch black. Originally, it was a fight in the late evening. However, after the school activated the Great Nyx regime formation, this entire area of the school entered complete darkness. If you were to look inside from other places, it would look like an empty space. What's going on? Heavens, I can't see anything. My magic, why can't I use my magic? The constellation had already disappeared, and the divine Nyx mantle enshrouded the entire area. The darkness made people feel indescribably unsafe, and if their fear was magnified, it would easily become panic. Sir Priest, there's a big formation here, could it be that we've been discovered? Hu Yi was so scared that he turned pale. An advanced great magic formation. This was the Shadow Element's advanced magic, Nyx regime. Underneath the Nyx regime, not only would the power of magic decrease by a lot, but the people themselves would enter a dark maze. If they wanted to escape, it would be difficult. Don't panic. If it was directed toward us, then they wouldn't use a shadow magic that would trap even the students, unless the school really disregarded the lives of their students in order to hurt us. Yu Ang said calmly, Sir Priest, this is a magic formation the school prepared beforehand in order to prevent a large amount of casualties during the battle royale. Its objective is to prevent the might of the intermediate magic from being too powerful and accidentally killing someone. This information was something I personally got from a teacher after he drank too much, Fu Tianming hastily interjected. Yu Ang coldly swept his gaze past him. Since you knew about this, why didn't you tell us earlier? Fu Tianming no longer dared to say anything else. Yu Ang was indeed frightened by this great shadow formation. He nearly thought he was exposed. So it was to prevent casualties among the students. This great shadow formation was equivalent to helping them greatly. In this darkness, even if they summoned dark beasts, then who would know that it was them? Beneath the Nyx regime, the vast majority of magic will decrease a lot. Our dark beasts are cursed creatures. Although they can't increase in strength, they also won't weaken because of the Nyx regime. The strength of Mo Fan, who possesses the fire, lightning, and summon elements, will have been decreased substantially. If we want to deal with him, it will be much easier. Hu Yi began to smile. Yu Ang also couldn't help but laugh. The circumstances were a great advantage for them. This time, the underground holy spring inside the belly of the shadow beast would be theirs, and even that guy Mo Fan would die. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.